Fueled by an unusually deep layer of warm water in the Bay of Bengal, Cyclone Nargis rapidly grew into a Category 4 storm before slamming into the Irrawaddy Delta in the southern region of Myanmar on the 2nd of May, 2008. As this delta region is populated with hundreds of fishing villages, built only a few meters above sea level, this was a recipe for disaster. An estimated 2.5 million people were displaced by the storm. With over 140,000 confirmed deaths, and many more thousands still missing, Cyclone Nargis is the worst natural disaster in the recorded history of Burma.
The storm came to our village just as it was starting to get dark. The tide rose very fast and my house began to shake in a way that was not natural. I decided that it was not safe to stay and fled into the darkness. Shortly after I left, my house completely collapsed. I made my way to a 2-story house located in the centre of my village. There were already 70 people assembled on the top floor of the building. The seawater was now very high, and it was not possible for me to go out and look for my children. To this day, I don't know what happened to them. I lost 11 children and grandchildren, and I do not know where the storm took them or where their dead bodies lie.
When Nargis came, many of the people in my village ran into the darkness to try and get away from the floodwaters. Unfortunately, the fields around here are not any higher than the village itself, and I wondered where they could safely go. In the darkness, I found a small boat and climbed inside, but so many others climbed in with me that it sank. I managed to swim over to a coconut tree and hugged it all night in the wind and rain. Sometime during the night, a boat slammed into me. The force of the impact broke my arm, and I had to hang on the rest of the night with just one good arm. After 2 days, rescue boats came to our village and took us to the refugee camps. I later had to go to Yangon, where the doctors determined that my arm could not be saved and they had to amputate. After I returned to my village, it was very difficult to start over. I had lost everything: my house, my business, and so many of my relatives and friends. All were gone.
ADRA has been a big help to us and the people of our village. They have not only given us rice and other food items, but also provided us with tarpaulins and household kits so that we can cook our food and have some of the bare essentials. They have also provided us with jerry cans so that we can collect and store water. Thanks to ADRA, we can now stand up for our own lives.
ADRA has been a great help to us. I don't know what we would have done without ADRA. I am so grateful for the support that they have given us.
Even now, almost a year after the storm, I'm still living on food provided by ADRA. Since my health is getting worse, I also greatly appreciate the medical treatment from the doctors that visit our village.
Because ADRA already had a presence in the Delta and had established trust with the government and local authorities, we were in a unique position to offer assistance immediately after Nargis struck. The storm surge had wiped out people's homes, crops, and all of the food that they had in storage. Almost all sources of pure water were contaminated. People were drinking coconut juice to survive. With our boats, we ferried food, water, and tarpaulins out to the villages. One of the most difficult things that we had to do was collect and bury the dead. From those very early days of initial response, the ADRA program has grown into an extensive recovery phase. We brought in many ADRA workers from other parts of the country and hired a number of others. Thanks to the overwhelming response of the worldwide ADRA network, we have been able to develop a far-reaching program that is helping whole communities rebuild their lives.
Today, ADRA continues to provide emergency food assistance to almost 200 villages whose fields have been destroyed by the salt surge. ADRA is also helping rebuild communities by rehabilitating wells, cleaning ponds, planting trees, and helping to rebuild houses, roads, bridges, and schools. By providing fishing nets, agricultural tools, and livestock, we are helping people return to their livelihoods. Mobile clinics also bring much-needed medical care. Last year, in Adventist churches across Canada, a special disaster and famine relief offering was taken one day after Cyclone Nargis made landfall. Donors also made gifts online or sent in checks. $150,000 was raised for ADRA Canada's response to the victims of Cyclone Nargis. By direct and matching grants, the Canadian government gave ADRA Canada an additional $600,000. Through the contributions of other countries and partnerships, the ADRA network response to Cyclone Nargis has grown to over $10 million in aid. Thanks to your generosity, ADRA has saved the vulnerable and is rebuilding lives. We don't know where disaster will strike next. A current region in crisis is the Darfur region in Sudan. Right now, you can help bring water to 25,000 people in desperate need. The majority of the internally displaced people in West Darfur are women, children, elderly, and disabled people. With your help, ADRA will install 35 hand pumps, improve local capacity to manage additional water points, establish a spare parts center, and educate people about health and hygiene. ADRA Canada is seeking to raise approximately $300,000 for this project. With additional matching funds from UNICEF, this will grow to a $500,000 project. Your gift will make this possible. Thank you for your generous support of ADRA Canada.